All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Mastering Objections. This is part of our weekly webinar series. And the topic this week is objections, which is a critical topic. If you want to be awesome at sales, if you want to take your sales to the next level, then you must learn how to master objections. And who better to learn from than Mr. Grant Cardone himself. And I am a 10X certified elite coach and trainer, and I'm going to be delivering this material that has helped me tremendously in my journey. And I'm going to, a little bit about me. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but I've got 38 years in outbound sales. 19 years was spent, my last 19 in the real estate industry. It'll be 20 in November. I made it all the way to being Gary Keller's top 100 mastermind at my previous company. I was also a trainer for the company. I got to go around and teach the listings curriculum for them. I'm personally and still currently coached by Mr. Tim Story. As a matter of fact, I have two coaches. I also have a coach with Success. My gosh, I actually have three coaches because I have a coach with Cardone as well. So right now I have three coaches in my life, which is amazing. Certified One Thing trainer, author of the Sales Playbook. I have two books, the Sales Playbook, as well as the book on how to get the most out of your time. And I am the host of Path to Mastery podcast, which is actually one of my favorite things, just being a podcast host. I've interviewed Gary Vee and Mel Robbins and Grant a couple times, and so many awesome people. A father of three amazing daughters. I've got an awesome wife, and man, I love life. So I'm glad I can do this, and I love sales. I'm one of those guys, like one of those anomalies that just love sales. Let me tell you how I got into sales. Okay, so it's about 20 years ago. My daughter, Jacqueline, at the time was 10 years old, and she had come in and she said, you know what, Dad, you should get your real estate license. Sue's mom makes a lot of money selling real estate. I was just like, okay, like this makes no sense. Thank you for saying that. And I ignored it. But for whatever reason, the next morning I woke up and real estate was on my mind. So I decided I was going to go, look into real estate, and I went, figured it out, and I took the course. And 5 months later, I had my real estate license. I passed the first time. And when you get your real estate license, you get called by all these different brokerages. And I ended up meeting with 3 different brokerages, and I ended up joining a team called Steve Clement's team. And I always remember my first day of training. Steve said, I want you to show up at the office, and I want you to bring, a highlighter. And he said, I want you to bring all the local real estate sections from the newspapers. And, so I went out, I got the Globe, the Herald, the Metro West News. And he said, I want you to bring, the 4x6 index cards and a Sharpie and all this stuff. And I'm like, what does this stuff have to do with real estate? But anyway, I got the thing together. I got all the newspaper real estate sections. And I remember showing up at his office. It was a Sunday morning at like 10 a.m. It was me and 3 other agents and Steve and one of his team members. And he brought us all into a large conference room, and he showed us with those newspapers how to go and find the for sale by owner ads in the real estate section. Like, that's what we did. We found the ads, and we took the highlighters and we highlighted the little ad. And then we went and we cut them out and we taped them to the top left corner of our index cards. And guys, that was our system back then. Although it was antiquated, and it was still the system to track those for sale by owners. Then Steve handed all of us a script, and he had us read the script over by ourselves about 5 times. And then we spent about 15 minutes practicing with the others in the room. And he said, okay, let's go. Let's get those phones out. We got our phones out and we started making those calls. And I just remember my first call, although I did have experience, I was pretty nervous. My experience was mostly business to business. We were calling homeowners. And I'll tell you what surprised me was how grouchy some of them were. But I remember my first call, I was like, tentative, like, yeah, this is David. And before I could even finish saying I was a realtor, they were like, yeah, we're all set. Click, hung up on me. I was like, okay, that went well. So then I get to my second call, right? A little further. I was like, yeah, this is David Hill with Keller Williams. And they said, buddy, if we need a realtor, we know somebody. And click, hung up on me. I was like, okay, this is great. So then I get to my third call, right? Again, I used the same script that Steve gave me, and this time I got a little further, but the people were like, yeah, buddy, we're good. we don't need a realtor. They were more polite about it, but in the end, we're like, yeah, we're all set. We got somebody, and just buy, click, hung up on me. Steve looked at me and said, dude, you're doing great. This is normal. I said, okay. So on the fourth call now, I went a little off script because, again, I had some experience myself making calls. So I said, just curious to go a little off script. So I said, hi, my name is David Hill, local realtor. I'm just curious, would you be open to hiring a realtor? The person paused and said, maybe, which threw me off. And I was like, literally started stuttering. Like, I didn't know what to. Steve grabbed the phone out of my hand, and he closed for our first listing appointment. And it's kind of funny now, and I can laugh about it, but in reality, we went on the meeting, we went on the appointment, and Steve didn't even get the listing. We didn't take the listing, and I wasn't confident, very confident in his scripts, but I'm still grateful for Steve, because he taught me about for sale by owners, but after about 4 months on his team and dealing with lots of frustration and lots of rejection, I just said to myself, there's got to be a better way of doing this. And, here I am almost 20 years later, after tens of thousands of calls. I've spent over $250,000, probably closer to $500,000 on myself in personal development, and just getting better, self-improvement, training. I would say 20,000 hours in trenches of cold calling and listing thousands of homes, selling over 1,100 homes. I took Steve's process from the antiquated index card system to a system that every single day in Vulcan 7 delivers to me all the new leads, the FSBOs, the expired. All I have to do is open my email, go into the computer, they're right there, right? From a stuttering cold call in the beginning, like stuttering, couldn't even get my words out the right way, to a great way of not even being scripted, just asking great questions and handling objections, which we're going to talk about today. Because if you're not getting objections, there's no interest. And listen, from rejection and disappointment to trying to get a simple, somebody to even communicate with me and meet with me, to a process where I can pick up the phone anytime I choose and actually connect with somebody, and it leads to an appointment. So I understand for most people today, your process may not be index cards and Scotch tape. I promise you. But I'm willing to bet there's a better way than you're doing it now. And here's what I'll tell you. I'm going to share some things with you today. But I want you to understand, if I can do this, anybody can do this. In the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to share exactly how I deal with these objections and how I help move people to a decision. So let me share this with you. So we're going to go into Grant's process for handling objections, which, let me just get this straightened out. I'm doing something a little different today as well, using my, it's called ManyCam, by the way. If you guys want to know what software I'm using to do this, I should probably have an affiliate with ManyCam because so many people are using it. But ManyCam is the software I'm using right now to be able to project this on my screen, and I can go behind it and all this good stuff. All right, but anyway, so here's what you must know when you're dealing with objections. If you want to be a master, these are the areas you must realize where your objections are going to come up. Number one is prospecting. All right, so when you're prospecting, you're going to deal with objections. I just shared the stories with you. All right, number two, building rapport. Anytime you're building rapport, there's people, especially if you're talking to people that don't know you yet, and there's no relationship established, you're going to deal with objections. Not rejection yet, but objections. Creating interest. When you're attempting to create interest in something with somebody, this is an area that objections come up. Obviously, on your demonstration or your presentation, plan for objections. When you're submitting a proposal to somebody, you're gonna get them. Okay, and we're gonna go through a bunch of those. When you're determining wants and needs, critical point. Determining wants and needs. People are not always going to tell you everything. As a matter of fact, the other day, somebody's like, well, that's kind of personal. It's okay. I love that. I love that it's personal. I get it. 100%. It's personal for me too, because my goal is to help you, right? When you're closing the sale, you're going to get objections, right? And if you're not getting objections, there's an issue. We're going to talk about that as well. And here's something else. You have internal objections yourself that you don't even know are happening. Like with yourself, with growing your business, with increasing your income. And we're going to get into that a little bit today as well. So this is super exciting. And here's the objections that we're getting killed by, okay? I'm just going to zip through this list real quick. And by the way, I'm going to give you, if anybody wants this recording, we're going to offer you the recording. So number one is just looking. Just looking. Price is too high. We've all heard that, right? And some, oh gosh, your price is too high. Oh, that price is ridiculous. Okay, I'm not buying anything now, right? Or yeah, we're just shopping, just checking it out. I remember a realtor, you know, people come, oh, I've got no interest, or people register on your website. Oh yeah, no, we're not looking at it. Just it made us register, right? I'm not the decision maker. There's one. I'm not the decision maker. They're just trying to take it off them. They don't want any pressure, right? I'm not doing anything until. Not doing anything until, you know, I have a chance to talk to my wife, talk to my husband, whatever, right? Oh yeah, we got a better price from the John Smith down the road. He gave us a better price. Send me your proposal. Yeah, that's a nice, easy one. Yeah, get out of here. Just send me your proposal so I can ignore your proposal. Okay, your terms are just not good. There's a whole list here. I mean, I can go through every one. I have bad credit. I have great credit. I have good credit. We can't do anything until. Can't do anything till after the holidays. As we're doing this right now, going into October for you real estate agents, a lot of people are going to say, I can't do anything now until after the holidays. That's when you got to start getting used to. All right. Your product doesn't have ... whatever. Your product is not, it doesn't have what the other guy's product has. We don't sign contracts. That's one of my favorites. We don't sign anything. We don't sign anything. First meeting, we got to sleep on it, right? We got to sleep on it. We got to talk about it. We got to pray on it. There's so many, right? We don't need all of that. Okay. If you can't do it for this, then whatever, or please don't call me back. There's a fun one. Don't call me back. Okay, great. Don't call you back when? Tomorrow or next week, right? You can have fun with some of this stuff, right? Just send me information. There's another one. Passive. Just send me the information. That's all, man. Just, and it's great too. Just send me info, and they feel like you're going to let them off the hook. We can't afford this. We're already over budget. Yeah, we're over budget. I've had people tell me I can't afford this thing. Like, and here they are 6 months later in our coaching program, and their business has blown up. So we went from can't afford it to realizing to them signing up, and now their business is 5 times where it was, and they had said they can't afford it. So send me testimonials. There's another one. I have to think about it. That's one of my favorites. I have to think about it. Yeah, we got it. So when someone needs to think about something, it means they're not sold on it yet. Right? We never make a rash decision. It's how we do it. We have to think about everything. We never make rash decisions. All right, here, number 1, mastering the objection. Commit. You got to commit. You got to make a commitment to yourself. Like, I want to master. I'm going to master this. I'm going to become a master at being at objections. And when you commit to something, you're saying there's nothing else. I'm committed 100%. You got to take responsibility for every objection. This is something that I have so much fun with. And as you watch more of my trainings, you'll start to hear me take responsibility for just about everything. Like, I was talking to somebody this morning, and they're like, yeah, well, all these real estate agents are calling my house. I said, I take full responsibility for that. They're like, what? Like, yeah, I take full responsibility. Like, what do you mean? Right? It's a pattern interrupt. It gets you in a conversation. Define what an objection is and what is not, because not everything's an objection. Sometimes it's just a question or a complaint. Grant calls it complaints. It's complaints and questions. And sometimes it is an objection. Identify where they take place. So you need to pay attention to where do you keep getting the same objections, and then fix it in your presentation. So you need to be super clear, like, here's an area in my step. There's only 5 steps to any sales process: the greeting, the fact-finding, the demo. Okay, greeting, fact-finding, demo, the closing, and then follow-up. Those are your 5. So which stage are you getting your objections? Okay, these are things we got to figure out. You got to identify each of those processes that I just described. Prepare until you can predict each objection. Like, I want you to show up in a place where I know exactly what objections they're going to give me. As a matter of fact, I will even encourage you to give them the objections before they even give it to you. That's like next level. That's a pro tip right there. By the way, we're going to have an opportunity for a few people. If you're interested later on to do a role play with me, I will work you through any of, I don't care what it is. Yes, I've never sold a car in my life. And yesterday I was able to move a guy to buy a car using the same layout I'm teaching you today. And then I want you to work on objections every day. Like, this is not like a do it once and you're a master. This is a daily practice. Like I told you earlier, 20 years ago, November is going to be 20 years for me real estate. I practiced role play for 14 years straight every day, Monday through Friday. I want you to think about that. 14 years every day, Monday through Friday. It was part of my morning routine. I did a role play call. So people are like, geez, how come you're so good at it? And you're like so calm and on the phones? And because I practiced that much, worked on it every single day. All right. Here's your 5 secrets about objection. Secret number 1 is you are the creator. Ooh, something I learned from Grant. You create your own objections. Did you hear that? I'm talking to you. You are creating your own objections, and you must take full responsibility for the customer's objection. So if you're the type of person that can never make a decision, like, oh gosh, I need to think about it. Like, you show up and then at the end of the presentation, the client's like, well, yeah, I need to think about it. And you're like, oh man, I'm bummed out. Like, that sucks. But in your own mind, although you're bummed out, you're thinking like, yeah, I get it. Because I always need to think about it too. So I want to challenge you on this one, that you create your own objections. Secret number 2, this is the most dangerous objection, the unspoken. This is the one that you got to dig deep to figure this one out. You got to learn how to dig deep. Like, they're like, oh yeah, I just need to think about it. I need to think about it a lot of times is the unspoken. Like, they're not really telling you what the real objection is. They say, oh, I need to think about it. So we have ways that you can take, I need to think about it, into a strategy where they're actually going to tell you exactly what the real objection is. Number 3 is most objections are just complaints. I talked a little bit about this earlier. And they don't all have to be handled. Sometimes somebody's just saying, hey, your fee's too high. I take full responsibility for that. I get it. I agree with you. It is super high. That wouldn't stop you from moving forward, would it? All right, awesome. Sign here. Like, seriously, it can literally be that simple. Okay. And we're going to share some more of those as well. Number 4 is objections are never a reason not to close or stop. So I want to challenge you that are listening to me right now. And I know this video is going to be watched by thousands of people after this. I want you to, when somebody gives you an objection, continue moving forward. You are still going to close the deal. Okay, we're going to share a strategy with you. Do not let an objection slow you down. You're still working. You're still moving forward. Okay, you got to determine what type. Is it a real objection, or is it a complaint, or is it just a question? All right, and here's the other thing you need to know. Secret number 5, there's only really one objection. People might say, like this, we did this earlier today. Somebody threw like 5 things on the table. We were having a conversation. It was a seller. There were like 5 different things on the table. Once we started breaking down the things, what we came to realize, there was really only one concern she had, was would she be able to sell her house and then find another house and be within the mortgage payment she wanted? But she was all kinds of stuff. Well, the market's changed. The interest rates went up. The house didn't sell last time. The houses in my neighborhood aren't, blah, all this stuff. But in the end, it was just that one thing. And once we realized we could solve that one thing for her, she was ready to go. All right. Here's objections defined as a statement or question raised by the prospect, which will indicate an unwillingness to purchase. Objections include price, terms, legal, product, timing, the economy, the company, everything. Competition, third-party data, confusion, lack of information. Okay, this is it. I'm going to be opening this up in a bit too, so we can get some more people can come into the conversation. Objections can be about price, terms, contract, product, timing, your company, you, competition, uncertainty, third-party data, we just said, confessions or confusions, right? I'm confused. They don't understand. I said confessions, but I need to learn how to read better. Confessions, confusions, right? They're confused. They don't know, like what you're saying to them. See, here's the thing. Sometimes salespeople show up and they talk so fast, and we know what we're saying, but we don't realize that the other person may not be following us, right? So confusion, lack of information. That's another one. Lack of information can be a huge problem. All right. Steps to determine. These are the 7 steps we're going to go through. We're going to have some fun with this. Number 1, listen. Listen. Number 2 is acknowledge. You need to acknowledge. Number 3, isolate. Okay, we're going to isolate. What that means, we're going to break down that objection. We're going to validate if it's the real objection. We're going to then determine the type of an objection because we want to handle the right objection. Okay, and then we're going to use tie downs to get them bought in. So if I could do this, would you do? Okay, if I could. That's the type of a tie down. And then close. You're going to close. You close or handle the objection. All right, but we're going to go through this process and we're going to ask for a volunteer. So number 1, listening. Here's a simple strategy. Let me write this down. I take a lot of notes. When I'm meeting with people, I'm writing a lot of notes. Tell me more. I got it. What else? Tell me more. Thanks for sharing. Tell me everything. I want them to know 100% I am listening to them. I'm paying attention. Number 2 is acknowledge. You're right. You are right. 100%. I agree with you. I can see that. I am in agreement. I feel the same way. I get it. It's hard for people to get upset with you and argue with you when you are agreeing with them. One of my biggest takeaways, you should write this down. One of my biggest takeaways from becoming a Grant Cardone licensee and then a coach trainer is he has a philosophy, which is always agree, no matter what, always agree. Like you never want to be in disagreement with somebody. When you agree with somebody, it's very hard for them to put up a wall. All right. So number 2, acknowledge. Just had to get a little bit of water in my mouth, get a little wetness. All right. Number 3, isolate. One of my favorites. What are your other concerns? What else is bothering you? Do you have any other reason for not moving forward? Do you have any other concerns? If I could solve that one thing, would there be anything else? Oh, God, it's brilliant. Brilliant question. If I could solve that, would there be anything else? All right. Number 4, validate. So we need to figure out, is this the real concern, the real objection? And you can literally ask, what's the real objection? There's got to be something else. Like I've said to people, there's got to be something else. Tell me. When you say that, what do you mean? Like, people will go deeper. People love this because you're helping them create clarity. I've had people say to me in the end, like, wow, like I'm more clear about this now after you asking me all these questions. Like they appreciate it, right? The bonus question that wouldn't keep you from owning it, doing it, hiring me today, whatever. So when you get to this point, like, wow, you know what? Your price is too high. I get it 100%. That wouldn't stop you from hiring me though, would it? Powerful question. Powerful question. Number 5, determine the type. Okay. Why do you say that? When you say that, can you help me explain? So sometimes you may get some hostility in this area, So the goal here is to determine the type of objection. And remember, there's only one. So we need to determine if it's price, if it's time, if it's uncertainty. There's 5 different types. Okay, here's your type: your product, your price, your terms. Is it a stall? Because sometimes it's just a stall. There's time, and I added unspoken. Unspoken is it's not even on this list, and it's one of the silent killers. Like it's what they're not telling you, and it usually is in time. Like, oh, I just need some time to think about it. But they're not even telling you like what it really is. You got to dig deep, friends. You got to dig deep. And you got to understand, is this a valid, like is your price is too high? Is that a valid objection, or is it invalid? Is it the real one, right? Price is too high. Is that the real objection? Who knows? You gotta find out. You gotta ask more questions. And then number 6 is close. So close or handle the objection. You can actually get Grant's the seller's guide to closing, and there's a couple different products. But number 6 is once you've handled the objections, you close or you continue to handle. If there's more, then you handle more. And this is not a complicated process. So here's a drill. number one, this, I'm going to go right through these 6 again real quick. And then I'm going to invite. So if anybody wants to come up, raise your hand and I'm going to bring somebody up and we're going to actually go through a process. I'm going to show you live and show you how we'll role play this. All right. So listen, do not interrupt. Okay. Listen, to duplicate. Okay. Listen with your head. Okay. I'm sorry, nod your head, but you need to listen. Like the other day, I caught myself as I was taking notes, I was missing things. I caught myself after missing things when I'm taking notes. So I really have to pay attention and listen. Acknowledge, I hear you. I understand. I agree with you. I take full responsibility for that. One of my favorites. That wouldn't keep you from owning it. Magic question. Isolate. Is that your only objection? What else is there? Right? What else would keep you from moving forward? Probe to determine type, tie down, and then close. So let's see. Do we got any hands raising? So if you're interested, raise your hand, and we'll in about a minute or so we're gonna get you in so we can do a role play. So the biggest mistake in handling objection is treating objections as objections when they are merely complaints. Sometimes people just, your price is high. Yep, 100%. So sign here and we'll have you else on the market and we'll have that $400,000 in your pocket in 30 days. It's not even an objection, but a rookie salesman would be like, oh yeah, well, I can do, I can reduce it. He didn't even ask you to reduce it. All you was say your commission is high or your fee is high or your price is high. Right. I remember years ago, somebody said to me, we went through, everything went really good. And at the end of the meeting, like it was brilliant. Like we're sitting at the table and we're going through the paperwork and he's just about to sign. He's like, you think you can do it for less? And I was like, unfortunately, no, I can't do it for any less. I said, everything we do here is part of this percentage. And I wasn't even as good as that was probably 15 years ago. It was one of the first times I learned this lesson. And the seller, and when I said that, he's like, okay, just one of my friends told me I should ask. And he signed. And I was like, wow, that was easy, right? Think about that. He wasn't even just asking a question. Okay. So we got to understand, is this a real objection? Is it a complaint or is it a question? All right. Objections versus complaints. Again, we talk price is too high. Is that a real or is that an objection or is it a complaint? Product isn't perfect. The term's too long. I get it. The term is long, so if you could get out of the term, would that work for you? Right. I need to talk to, you're the first place we looked at. So here's what I'm telling you with this one. This is one of my favorites too. You're the first guy I talked to. What are they saying to you? They're saying, we're not sold on you. Just being honest. If they met with you and they went through your process and then they said, well, you're the first one we looked at. We need to look at more. We need to get more information, more demos. They're just not sold on you. I would just go back and say, okay, I understand. I take full responsibility for you not being sold on me right now. Like I did not provide enough information so that you feel comfortable moving forward with me because I believe I'm the best choice. So what do we need to do to make you feel comfortable? And I would go right back into the demo. Like I take full responsibility. All right. Price is too high. Yep. Product isn't perfect. Yep. Term is too long. I need to talk, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Is it an objection or is it a complaint? All right. Golden rule, treat all objections as complaints first until isolated, until validated, until it's legitimately an objection. Okay. There's your golden rule. Whenever you hear an objection now, treat it as a complaint first until 100% sure it's an objection. All right. Acknowledge the complaint and close. Okay. Acknowledge. So I get it. Price is super. As a matter of fact, yeah, price is high. We get it 100%. It's not going to stop you from moving forward, is it? I mean, you still want to sell your house, right? You still want to be in Florida. You're still going to be in Florida by October, right? Awesome. 100. Great. Let's go then. Let's get this done. Let's get you every penny we can. As a matter of fact, we're going to negotiate so high you may get over asking price, right? Sign here. That's it. Move forward, my friends. Some of you guys might be like, man, this is just too easy. Like you gotta try. Well, first off, you have to have confidence. So yeah, if you, and the only way you're going to have confidence is, like I said, practice, training. You got to practice. You got to keep doing this. You got to get around the right people that are doing this stuff. You know, we have a community. We have a community of people that do this daily. We get together 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We got a community every day, role playing, doing things like that. You got to get around the right people if you want to get really good at this. All right, rules, the rule of responsibility. Look at it at the objections you continue to get, and you have something to do with that. Because here's what Grant says, and I love this. He says that if the objections you're getting are because of you. Like if you continue to get it, like I said this in the beginning, like if somebody's always like, well, yeah, I need to think about it, or your price is too high. Are you always telling people, I need to think about it? Are you always telling people, well, your price is just too high? I'd be willing to bet there's some truth in there somewhere. You're getting back. I learned this myself. You know, I wouldn't say the hard way, because I'm glad I learned, but I was the guy that always waited till last minute. Always waited till last minute to make a purchase, or I'd second guess it. I'd stress myself out. And then when I became aware of this, I said, you know what? I'm going to make a decision right away. So if I believe something's going to help me, I'm not going to spend waste time thinking about it. I'm just going to make the decision and buy it, or I'll make the decision and not buy it. So I don't have to have any extra energy. And as soon as I became that type of person, I was able to help other people make a decision like that. But until I became that type of person, I couldn't help other people make that decision. So Grant says, if you trust me long enough to look to see how this might be true, then you will see why and how it is true. That's what Grant says. It shows up in your life. You are getting back the objections that you put out there in the world. All right. Now I want to have everybody, I want you to think about an objection right now. I want everybody to write this down. Here's an exercise. Okay. I want you to write down an objection that you have, and what is your agreement with it? Okay. Again, for me, money was always an issue. And you know, well, your price is just too high for us. Like, oh, I don't know, man. Wow. That's $1,000 a month. Oof, that's expensive. Wonder why I'm getting that. Cause anytime someone would present something to me, I'd be like, wow, $5,000 is kind of expensive. So when somebody presents it to me, now I'm sitting there and I'm wondering why I can't help somebody make a decision, because in my own mind, I'm agreeing with them. When they're saying, man, that's kind of too expensive, I'm like, yep, I know exactly what you're saying. Not in the objection handling sense, in the sense like, yeah, I get it, because it is expensive and I'm not sold on it. And so, man, you got to just look at yourself. And this is one of those areas where really dig deep and really think about, like, okay, where am I holding myself back? What objections am I carrying? So I want you, so anybody, here's an opportunity right now. We see we've got a hand raised. So Sam, do you want to bring in whoever has their hand raised? And I'd love to, if we have any question, or if somebody wants to, if somebody wants to share an objection, and then we're going to go through this tool right here. So, and this is the worksheet right here. All right, let me see. So somebody had a hand raised. We're going to bring in. All right. Well, here's the worksheet that I use. Okay, Bruce. Awesome. Bruce, can you turn on your camera, please? We like to speak to people that we can actually see and look at.
Dave, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yes, sir. I can hear you. Great.
I don't see any control for a camera at this point.
Okay, got it. All right. So
I just have a microphone, mute or unmute, but no camera to turn on.
All right.
Which
Awesome.
I can turn it on if you like it, but I just need a button to push.
Yeah. Okay, fine. If you don't have the button, that's cool. We're going to keep moving forward the way it is right now. Okay. Awesome. So did you have an objection you wanted to share, or did you want to go? Okay, great. So what is your objection first off?
A seller. Well, I want to work with a realtor who can show me some testimonials and proof that he has successfully marketed homes in the past.
Okay. Perfect. So basically you want to work, they want to work with a realtor that has proof.
Yeah, or experience, in other words, but they want you to prove that you have experience, not just
Got
say
it.
it.
Okay.
And they want to see testimonials, somebody, and
Okay.
again,
Perfect.
this is an objection that maybe a new realtor would have trouble dealing with.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So you want to position this as somebody that doesn't have, because that was going to be my first thought. Like, okay, this is easy, right? Just give them testimonials, right? That
Yeah,
would be
no,
super easy. So
yeah,
now,
as a new agent.
yeah, okay, got
Yeah.
it. So you're thinking somebody that doesn't have that yet. All right, now let me ask you this. Now, is this something you get, Bruce? Does this
No,
come up?
no, it just occurred to me though. I may have heard it on one of the role-playing sessions on Clubhouse. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure how they dealt with it, to be honest with you, or whether they dealt with it successfully. But
Yeah.
but again, as a new agent, I'm always concerned about whether somebody will throw up to me, well, how many houses have you marketed? Or
Yeah.
how,
Awesome. So let's work through it then. Let's work through it. So we're going to start right at the top. Okay. So first step is we're going to listen. Okay. So, and I'm going to use this model, and I'm actually going to look at it on my screen, just because what I'm seeing on there is so small, I can hardly read it. So let me just pull that up on my screen myself. Okay. So number one step, listen. So Bruce, what I'm hearing is you are looking for testimonials.
well, the seller, for instance, if I'm at a listing appointment, the seller might say, well, you know, how much experience have you had? Tell me the homes that you've
Got it.
marketed
So
successfully.
what we're going to do is you and I are going to role play. I'm going to be the real estate agent in this case, and you're going to be the seller. All right. So we're at the point now where I'm going to ask you to hire me and put me to work. Okay. So
Right.
Bruce, awesome. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate you meeting with me and going through my consultation. So are you ready to put me to work? Have you seen enough information to make a decision?
Well, you have it distinguished between, what you can do for me and what I'm expired. Okay. And what my past realtor had done for me. My past realtor told me he had all this experience in marketing homes, and it turns
Yeah.
out he had no experience. So if I'm going to hire another realtor to help me market my home, I want to see proof. I want to see some testimonials. I want to see some proof that you
Yeah.
have indeed been successful in marketing other people's homes.
Okay. Yes. 100%. Let me, as a matter of fact, I'm writing this down, Bruce. Let me write this down. All right. I get 100% what you're saying. This is super, super important. I appreciate you sharing it with me. Tell me more. What else?
Well, that's my main stumbling block. Well, that's something that I really, in all good conscience, have to consider if I'm going to relist my house with a realtor. Because all the agents that have contacted me tell me the same thing. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. I really have to see some demonstration that they have indeed marketed homes successfully, and that they're not new, that they have
Yeah.
experience. And I am looking for an experienced realtor this time. My other realtor
Okay.
really didn't have the experience and know-how to market my home successfully.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing all that with me. And I agree with you 100%. And I would feel the exact same way. If my house came off the market, and I get what you're saying. So besides experience in marketing is what I'm really taking from this. You want to make sure you're getting the right agent. What other concerns do you have? Now I'm going to isolate, Bruce. What other concerns do you have?
Well, that's my main concern. Okay, let's assume that I brought up the objection of the commission and other realtors that I've spoken to perhaps have offered a lower commission and that sort of things. And let's assume that you've
Yeah,
successfully
let's just stay
overcome
in the
those
role play, Bruce. Let's just stay in
objections.
the role play. We don't have to assume anything. We'll just stay in the role play. Okay. So
Oh,
what
I
I'm
see. Okay.
asking you is Bruce, I so get what you're saying right now. I think it's really, really important to have somebody that has experience marketing. So what other concerns do you have besides that?
Well, my other realtor that we listed with, he listed the home, and I didn't. I actually didn't hear from him very much after he listed the home. You know,
Wow.
we had a few showings, a few offers, but I never got any feedback from him, even though I asked. I never got any feedback from him as to, what the buyers, or at least the buyers that made offers, were thinking. Was there anything they liked about the house or didn't like about the house? I just wasn't getting any feedback from them. So
Mm.
I would like a realtor or an agent that will can communicate with me a lot more frequently.
Okay, 100%. I'm writing this down as well. So what you said was, you did say, it sounds like all realtors are the same, right? You said that earlier, and then I also heard that, the experience with this last agent, you weren't getting the feedback, you weren't getting that communication, which is critically important. What else? What other objections do you have?
Uh, those are probably the main objections that I do have. Yeah, but the main one is that I'm really looking for an agent this time that has the experience and the know-how to market my home successfully and get it sold.
Got it. So, so let me ask you this, Bruce. So just to be clear, your agent obviously needs to have experience and know-how, but it sounds like it's also really, really important for you to get communication. Am I accurate there, or are you
Absolutely.
okay?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You hit it right on the head.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So any other concerns other than that? But yeah, so besides getting a realtor that has the experience and will communicate with you the way you want to be communicated with, anything else?
this is this is going against my nature because I'm not a person that's nitpicky. But now that you asked, I would really like to know exactly what an agent, exactly step by step, what an agent will do for me to
Mm,
market my home successfully, so that I can keep him accountable. If I don't know what he's doing and I just have some general ideas of what he says he's going to do, there's no way I can keep him accountable. But if
yeah.
I know specifically what he's going to do, I can always make sure that he does accomplish those on a time schedule that we agree to.
I love this. Yeah, Bruce. I mean, this is perfect. So it sounds like for you, not only do you want the agent that has the experience with the marketing, that's going to communicate, but you want something in writing, a plan that you can hold them accountable to. That's
Yeah,
that's what I'm
that would
hearing
be
right now.
perfect. If he could
Okay.
outline the tasks that he's going to accomplish week by week during the marketing of the home, and then communicate to me that he's accomplished each of those tasks as he accomplishes those tasks, that would be great. Yeah, that would be great. But most of all, I don't want to, I really don't want him to simply tell me this
Yeah.
is what he's going to do. I want to see some proof that he has experience
Yes.
executing these tasks and selling homes over the last year, for instance.
Okay. So if I can solve this problem, Bruce, would there be anything else?
No, that's about all.
Giving you everything you just asked for in writing, giving you evidence, giving you proof, giving you testimonials, giving you a plan, giving you accountability. There's no anything else in a way.
No, that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let me give you your plan, and Bruce, sign right here.
Yeah. Where's the plan?
Well, I mean, listen, we're on a role play right now, but yes, we're gonna give it to you, right? We're gonna get you everything you need. I mean, you just broke that whole process down for, like, you just told me everything I need to do, which is simple, right? If you have the
Yeah.
experience. If you don't have the experience, then yeah, then what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah. That's my main objection. So
Yeah.
before I sign anything, I have to see evidence that the realtor or the agent, has the experience and can show me that he's been successful in selling homes.
Yeah. So in this particular case, what do we do is we isolated, we validated your real this is a real objection for you. Like, you you need proof, right? So this is reality. So you're going to want something in writing. So either this agent's going to have to go, if they don't have it themselves, then hopefully their brokerage has it, right? They can get some proof from their brokerage, or maybe they're on a team. They can get some proof for them from their team. They're going to have to give you what you want, right? There's no magic like thing here. It's like, okay, Bruce, magically you're going to sign the paperwork. No, I have to give you what you want. But what we just did, if people that are watching this, following the process, is you just told us exactly what we need to do for you to say yes to us. Now we just have to do it.
Yeah. My thought as a potential client is, well, you have to show me in writing. Well, for instance, that other objection, I would like to see the tasks and the steps
Sure.
you're going to take,
I mean,
in
we
writing.
have all that.
Well, you haven't showed me yet, or have you?
Well, Bruce, we're in a role play now, and we're in a webinar that ends in 14 minutes. So
Yeah,
we're not,
right.
we're right. I mean, so
Yeah,
work with
but-
me here. Work with me, brother.
But in
Right?
reality, you would put that in front of me before
And
I
yes,
sign.
100%. In reality,
got
I
it,
would,
got
yes,
it.
this
All
is
right.
my point. Like I would say,
Okay.
here's the testimonials. Like here's the plan. Here's
Yeah.
right. Like I'm giving you everything. And if I don't have it, then I got to figure it out. I may have to say, you know what? Let me get one of my team members on the phone that has the experience that's going to make you feel comfortable. Or let's say you're not on a team, but you're with a broker and your broker has sold houses in the area. You know what? Let me get you some details from my brokerage to show you my brokerage has done this and they support me. They're behind me. So when you hire me, you're actually getting the whole brokerage. Does that make sense? Because yes, you're right. You're going to have to give the person what they want. I'm just saying for purposes of us being here and doing this is, we're only going to go so far.
Sure. No, I understand. No, but
right.
that's what I look at that. You're answering my original question, because now you're basically transitioning into not me having the experience as an agent, for instance, but my team or my office, my real estate office has, years and years of experience.
But
and
let me share something else. And I don't mean to jump in, but like I said, I want to keep this to an hour. One of the things, like, here's what ends up happening a lot of times. Like somebody won't even get to the point we got to because they take like face value. They'll call somebody and the person's like, yeah, I have zero interest in selling my house. Or yeah, no, I'm just gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Just take me off, whatever. When you ask these questions, you went from I have zero interest in selling my house to actually I would sell my house and I would relist my house if I believed there was an agent that actually had a plan and they would communicate with me the way I want, right? Because you weren't being communicated with. I found that out. You didn't like that, right? You felt like you were in the dark the whole time. So these are things I'm finding out now that are going to help me take your listing.
Right. And basically what you're saying to the client is, if I can provide the things that you need in an agent, because they've just described what they're looking for in an agent. Yeah. So you're basically saying, if I can provide these attributes of an agent, or if I can successfully market your home,
100%.
I sign on a dotted line. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah,
it's just
awesome.
that my original question was something that really is kind of personal to me, not having the extensive experience that most realtors have.
Yeah, perfect. So then you need to find other people that you're aligned with that have the experience in this case, or just be so confident that it's not going to keep coming up, right? The other side of that is when you show up and you're super, super confident. I'll tell you what, I listed homes my first month in the business, had zero experience. But I showed up, I was confident, it never even came up, so that could be part of it too.
Yeah,
right?
Well, you brought up a good point. Certainly, if you say you're at a listing appointment and you speak with confidence, the chances of them asking you, well, how many homes have you sold in the last 6 months? That question will probably not come up. But if it does, how would you reply?
Yeah.
How many, Dave, how many houses have you sold in the last 6 months? You're a new agent now. Go ahead.
Yeah, my office actually has sold a couple hundred in the area. So Yeah, so I'm part of this office, and so yeah, so we're all set. Do you have any other questions for me?
Well, how many have you sold personally for
Yeah,
homes that,
as you know, I just got licensed, but I'm on this team with this support. So they've got my back and everything. That when you hire me, you're actually hiring the whole team. So yeah, so we're gonna get this done for you. So our team is the top team in this area. Any other questions?
there you
Right.
go.
Again, so we're just gonna keep moving forward. Like again, if I don't have it, I need to figure it out. So my office, my team, and again, if you're getting that objection, I'm going to bring you right back to what I said before. We get the objections that we create for ourselves, right? If I back up a couple slides, it'll show you that we get the objections we create for ourselves, right? So if you're getting that, it's because you're somehow bringing that to yourself. Like maybe there's a concern or something like, I'm brand new and I don't have the experience. So this is I'm glad you did this, man. I appreciate you doing this. And here's what I would say. I would say you should look at our community. We have a community. We have over 65 real estate agents right now to get together on a daily basis. And this is what we break down. We practice it. But I want to say I appreciate you doing this. I'm going to keep moving forward now. Thank you so much, Bruce.
Oh,
All right. I
okay.
hope you found that useful. You know how to reach out. You know how to get in touch with me if you want to join our community. So I want everybody now that's watching this, okay, regardless of when you're watching it, if you're driving, don't do it now, but I want you to think about these objections below, okay? And which of these objections do you do? Like we just had Bruce on and just want to say, appreciate you so much, Bruce, for doing that, right? Thank you for stepping up. It's, and again, I don't know Bruce at that level, but there may be a little something with Bruce that's having that objection come up. Like maybe he's not 100% certain on what he's doing, or maybe there's a little bit of a lack of, well, I don't have the experience. So that keeps coming up. We're bringing that on ourselves, right? So I want you guys to think about it. And I want to give Bruce all the rewards and the credit for coming up. But I want you to think about this yourself. Like, where is that showing up? Like I shared with you earlier, how for me, I was the type of guy that always waited till last minute for everything. And I always wanted to try to get a discount on everything. So that was what I was getting back. Whenever I asked somebody, okay, you ready to go? Oh man, we need to wait. Oh, can you do it for lower? Not realizing that I was bringing that on myself. So here's an exercise. If you're watching this, if you're not watching this, this will be, if you're listening to it, it'll be on YouTube. You can go to David Hill Coach, my YouTube channel, download this How to Master Objections video, and you have the exercise right here. So there's your exercise. And I just want to, so here's one of the things, that comes up a lot. But before, I want to give you an assignment. So for the next week, the list I just showed you, I really want you to spend time, and I want you to write down, every time you think of, you get an objection, write it down. And then I want you to study and say, okay, man, I've heard this now. And sorry to pick on Bruce, but I'm going to use Bruce's example because he's newer agent and he keeps having people say, I need to see experience. I need something in writing. How many homes have you sold? Man, there was this guy, Chris Brown, on our team. He was 22 years old. He looked like he was 12 years old. Well, maybe a little older than 12. He looked like he was 17. And he would walk in and people would be like, dude, man, holy cow, are you even old enough to drive? So what he did was he just started walking in and saying, hey, I know I look super young. I get it. Like he would tell people that before he said it. And then, so right away, he's handling the elephant in the room. And then he would say, but I want to let you know, I'm on a team. I'm on the #1 team in this area, and I'm on the Hill team, and they've sold more houses. And that you're hiring, you're not just hiring me, you're hiring the whole team. But I promise you, I have no other clients right now. I am going to work so hard for you. You're going to have the team, but you're going to have me working 80 hours a week if I have to get this done, right? I want you to go in with that type of a confidence. All right. So I want you to think about this over the next week. Think about the objections you're getting and where do you have those in your own life? All right. I want you to locate where those are showing up in your sales process and be honest with yourself. If you can be honest with yourself, this exercise is going to help you tremendously. And again, Grant says you create your own objections, okay? And he wrote this. He says, to explain to you what I mean by this is I want to tell you a story of one of my most trusted associates who once came to me and said, I can't get any of my leads to close. It's weird. They have the money. They can do it. They want it. But they can afford it. They know it's only a matter of time before they'll do it, but I just can't get them to close. I can't figure it out. What do you think it is, Grant? I said, well, it's simple. You do the exact same thing in your life. You won't spend the money on the things that you know you need. When you when you happen to be in a close, you can't close your prospects because you agree with what they're saying to you. You need to open the floodgates and start saying yes in your own life. You understand that? You need to open the floodgates, just like I did, and start saying yes in your own life. You know, your customers will somehow reflect exactly what you believe. All right. If you believe that you don't have experience, your customers will figure that out and they will sense it. They won't even know why or how. They're going to have no idea. They're just going to be like, something is telling me this person doesn't have the experience. So we need to quit asking our customers to do what we won't do. Okay, so let me share something with you. All right, so one of the things that I get asked most, okay, is, you know what, hey, I really like, you know, what you're talking about, you know, how do I, you know, get more, how do I get better at this? Like, how do I learn this process? Like what would be the next step? So I'm going to tell you the next step for you would be to join our community. We have a community of real estate agents. I've mentioned it a couple of times. It's davidhill.club. We meet daily, Monday through Friday. We have a huddle every single morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time. And this is where we practice. This is a community that supports each other, role plays with each other, practices. Okay. And here's the thing. I'm going to not only teach you how to do this in the community, but we're going to teach you how to find listings now. Okay. Especially now, if you're listening to this in October, as we're going into the fall, where a lot of people can say, oh God, I'm going to wait till after the holidays. It's a critical time to learn how to master these objections. So listen, whether you're brand new and you've never even taken a listing, or you've taken a few listings, but you're like, I need to figure out how to get to the next level, or you're just an expert at listings, then this is for you. Okay. I want you to picture a time in your life, like picture a day when you can just pick up the phone and call anyone with confidence, when you can be sitting in front of somebody and they say, well, you know what? I don't know. I'm looking for someone with more experience, or your price is too high. And you can confidently ask the right questions to move them forward and get the listing signed. Or picture a day when other realtors are calling you, or whatever business you're in, and they're saying, man, how are you? Like, wow, dude, why are you getting so many listings right now? Or how come you sold so many cars last month? Like, wow, tell me about that. Or I want you to picture a day when you just have the freedom and the wealth to you know, my family and I, we did 3 vacations this year. We just got back from Newport again. You know, I want you to picture, like, think about the time you have the wealth and the freedom and the time to live the life of your dreams. You know, so what's going to happen right now is my assistant is actually going to drop a link in the chat so you guys can take advantage. I want to let you know about what we're doing right now is I got a special offer for today. We have the Shift Up tour with Jarek Robbins coming up. This is coming up October 3rd and 4th. Shift Up tour. You can go check out the site. And we're gonna have a day and a half event, which is going to be Jarek, and we have 18 real estate agents from all over the country coming, as well as Canada. They're going to share top strategies, everything from how to YouTube videos on YouTube to client appreciation events to prospecting to senior housing. I mean, everything. We're bringing all the strategies out there for people. Okay, everything, because we know not everybody's going to be an expert picking up the phone. So right now we're doing a special. This is a today special. Okay, you'll get access, 30-day access to my community, which is $197 a month. You're going to get 30-day access to our community. Plus you're going to get a free upgrade. So when you buy your Shift Up Tour ticket right now, you get free upgraded to VIP. So you're getting an $800 value right now. Go to shiftuptour.com or use the link my assistant is dropping in the chat. Buy the general admission ticket for $147. We're going to upgrade you to the VIP, which gives you the recordings and a special session, okay, that only VIPs are going to have access to, and a 30-day access to our community. You get that right now. This is a right now deal. This is not a tomorrow deal. This is not a next week deal. This is what you call urgency. If you want to take advantage of this, go to shiftuptourrightnow.com, sign up for general admission. I will see your registration. Sam will get you set up in our system. All right. Listen, I'm going to open it up in a minute for questions. I want to know if anybody has any questions. But before I go there, I want to share one more story with you. So in 2017, I joined a group of top producing real estate agents, and we signed up for a 1-year mastermind event. And this was going to be a 3-day event. And at the beginning, all of us were challenged to a health track, because he said health is critically important. The options were yoga, which sounded pretty wimpy to me, interval training, which, was decent. I was doing CrossFit at the time, or Ironman race, which Ironman race was like, hell no. I didn't own a bike. I didn't even know how to swim. And I'd never ran more than a 5K, right? So the interval was the easy choice. But over the next few days, Adam kept pressuring us. He wanted us to take it up to the next level. So if we signed up for yoga, we would do interval. If we signed up for interval, he wanted us to get up to Ironman. And, I was like, just kind of ignoring the conversation. But in my mind, in the back of my mind, I knew I could do more. So finally, on the last day, I agreed to step it up and do the Ironman race. And I felt pretty good about my decision to do the Ironman race until I got to the Ellington YMCA pool and I swam one 25-meter lap across that pool. And I panicked. Man, I had swam the one side of the 25-meter pool to the other. I drank chlorine water. I was breathing so heavy, I couldn't believe it. I panicked. I thought, oh my God, what have I got myself into? I just swam one lap. I just drank chlorine. I can't breathe. I did the numbers in my head. And I said, in order to complete this race, I'd have to go 78 times, 78 laps back and forth. And I thought, impossible. I said, this is impossible. I left the pool. I called my wife, and my wife's always super supportive. I was like, hon, I got to get out of this. This is impossible. And she's like, oh no, David, you can do anything you want. You got this. You can do it. And I was like, okay, whatever, hon, hung up. The next call was to Adam. I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but in the end, he said, I can't say because it's inappropriate on here, but what he said in the end, what I got was, he said, hire a coach. And I said, they have coaches for swimming? He said, yeah, I hire a coach, and hung up on me. So I went to the Ellington YMCA front counter, and they gave me the name of Joel, who was the coach. So I talked to Joel later that day, and he told me his fee was $80 an hour. My immediate thought was, well, I can just figure this out on my own, but I agreed to meet with him. So over the next 4 days, I got some help, swimming. I went back and forth. The lifeguard gave me a few tips, but, he couldn't really give me the time or attention. But I was actually able to make it back across and back down to the other end of the pool. So I'd actually considered canceling Joel. But anyway, I stuck to the meeting. So at the first meeting, Joel showed up and he said, okay, I want to watch you swim. So I swam back and to the other end, and I swam back down. He watched me and he said, okay, good job. And I was out of breath. I had to catch my breath. He said, okay, I want you to make a few changes in your stroke. He watched me swim back and forth again. And I did this a few times. And then he said, okay, I want you to practice for another 30 minutes and I'll see you back here. I'll see you back here on Thursday. And I was like, I almost said no, but I said, all right, you know what? I'll meet with you. And the next morning, I swam. And then the next morning he showed up and he watched me with a new stroke. And I was so proud. I swam down to the other end of the pool and I made it there. And then I came back and I was just about to grab the side. And before I could grab the side, he said, one more lap. And I was like, huh? He said, no, go back. And I was like, huh? And he said, yeah, no, go back. And I turned around and I started swimming, and I was dragging my body, and I was like, and I'd never done more than 2 laps. So I'm swimming back and I'm pulling, and I'm drinking chlorine water again. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard. And I'm pulling myself. And I was seeing the end of the pool, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to make it. And he was down the end, and I was just about to grab the pool. He said, go back. And I was like, what? He said, go back again. And I says, Joel, I can't. He said, go back. And he yelled at me. And I turned around and I just dragged, and like literally, it was probably the ugliest swim. I dragged myself back, but you know what? I made it back. I made it all the way back, and I drank pool water, and I was out of breath, and I had to catch my breath. And I was like, and I actually thought I was going to drown. And thank God I realized that I was only in like 5-foot water, so I couldn't have drowned anyway. But here's my takeaway. When I got all the way back, I realized like, wow, I was actually going to quit. Like 5 days ago, I did 1 lap and I was ready to quit. And today I just did 4 laps without stopping. Think about that. And here's the interesting thing. And here's what occurred to me later on. I probably could have gutted out those 4 laps the first time I was there. The first time in the pool, I bet you I could have gutted them out, because I knew technically how to swim. But the challenge was there was no one there to push me to do it. And that was the difference. And that whole process with Joel lasted about 3 months before I felt comfortable enough on my own. And then I ended up hiring Courtney, who ended up becoming my triathlon coach. And here's the thing though, what happened there, that set up breakthroughs in my life, not just in swimming, completing that race. It wasn't just in swimming. It showed up in my business, and here's me at the finish line, Lake Placid, 2019. There's me crossing the finish line. I had so many breakthroughs in my life and in my business and in how I show up and in everywhere. But that would have never happened if it wasn't for Joel. That would have never happened if Joel hadn't pushed me. And it also would have never happened if I had given up. So I just want to challenge you guys right now. Like, I'm going to push you. I'm going to tell you, make sure you get yourself signed up for this event, because not only are you going to get to spend a day and a half with top producing realtors from all over the country and Canada, but you're going to have 30 days in our community. And right now you can do this for only $147. So I'm going to challenge you right now to get signed up. This is a now. You can sign up later, but you're not going to get all this for $147. So there's your opportunity today. I hope you got a ton from this webinar. Bruce, I appreciate you. And Sam, drop the link in the chat if you haven't already. And before I go, I do want to find out though, do we have any questions? If anybody has a question, raise your hand. We'd love to get some questions in. All right. Doesn't look like we have any questions. So thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you. And you can right now, shiftuptour.com, nothing fancy. All you need to do is go to shiftuptour.com, sign up for the 147 event, general admission. You'll get upgraded to VIP, and you're also going to get access to our community for 30 days. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.